So, first of all, thank you to everyone who prayed for me because I only got to go for 8 days because I was sick, and but it was still amazing. I started on Friday. They all started on Tuesday. How do you do this? This arrow? This one? Okay, so this is just the front El Pinar, and this is after it's already been painted. Here's the road. This is a good road right here. This is a very good road. So, um, yeah. Aside from the tar, but the tar kind of looked like this too. So, um, I arrived during the end of work time on Friday, and they were cleaning up. Um, and this was the first night. I hadn't done a thing except get there, and they were giving us gifts already. And these were the vases they gave the women with flowers in. They were handmade and painted by them, the women there. And then they also gifted each team member some jam. This is their homemade jam that 5 years ago a different team had come there and taught them how to make this jam out of their blackberries. And then this is, Pastor might talk about this also, but this, the vines and the pine needles on the floor, I didn't get to see the initial presentation, but this is a special honor that they gave to the team, which is really just for very important people. And the missionary didn't even think they would do this for our team, but they honored us this way. And look at those pine needles. They had to pick all those, and they had to put them, spread them. The whole entire church was covered, and put all those vines up on the rafters. And also, I'm talking about the way that my talk is about how they served us the whole time. And this same night, they have a special bean that grows in their area that's big and black, but I can't remember the name of it, and I forgot to ask Hermana Claudia. But it's a very rare bean, and they could sell it for a good rate because it's a very expensive rare bean, but they served it to us as a special gift treat, just to thank us for coming and doing everything we did that same night. This is Hermana Claudia. She is amazing. She gave us her house to live in, and she went and stayed in a room on the floor the first night, or she stayed on the floor some nights because they had a guest there, and then she moved into where the guest had been staying in the back of the church in a storage room. Yeah, she cooked she helped cook all our meals on her brand new stove. Sorry, I had this written down so it would be fast. So I would wait. Yeah, I missed all that, but this is the path down to where they did laundry in the river. And I'll probably see more pictures, but as you can see, she's hauling a big bin on her head. And I think some of the team members tried to do that, and it was less effective, or even hauling some things over their shoulder like the Lenca people would do because they're used to this hard labor. Okay. So, I'm sorry, this is really... Okay. The pictures are kind of out of order, but this is the stove that they cooked all her meals on, along with Claudia on her stove. This is her new stove. But a lot of the food was made out there, like especially like meat. Well, they were making pancakes, but I actually did help make pancakes one day, so. And they cooked things on big woks out on open fires out here. So, I'm going to get back to my talk here, but I just want to say that we would wake up, or I would wake up probably earlier than a lot of the other people and probably cause them to actually get woken up because of me. But I would hear music in the church because Claudia played it very loud, and she was either cleaning or they were getting ready or she was doing her devotion or whatever in the church. So that was really nice to hear that. And I would come outside and one of the men would be cleaning the bathrooms for us. And I don't know, I can't ever remember a time my husband cleaned the bathroom, but this man did it every day. So anyhow, so they also got cleaned a couple more times during the day, but the women were doing it then, or one of the kids would be, and sometimes the men would just be refilling water. These people had no vehicles or any other mode of transportation because of the cost of such luxuries, of course. But they walked from their homes between 3 and 5 in the morning to get to this. I don't know where the picture is of this because they're kind of different. I might have to go back. I'm not even sure if I have a picture of all these things, but I need to do my talk. I'm sorry. But I'll go through the pictures real quick. They would come early to get our breakfast ready or to clean the church, because at one point they did sweep all of the pine needles out so they could have a clean church for our service. And they would be in the house where we were sleeping, but we wouldn't even hear them because they're so quiet and, just quietly working. They would sweep the whole kitchen in the morning and then mop it. They cooked all our meals on the stone oven, which you saw before, and Claudia used hers. They treated us to Honduran dishes every day. We always had handmade tortillas at every meal and mashed beans at every meal. That is like their staple food, and we were blessed to even get meat. We provided the money for our meat, but they don't generally have meat except special occasions. On those open pots that you saw before, they made, we call them bananas, they call them mini-mos or something like that down there. Apparently there's two different kinds. There's mini-mos and there's bananas and there's plantains. But they had the mini-mos in a huge wok over the open fire, and they were kind of sweet. But if they do them when they're green, they taste like a potato with sour cream. So it was really, I don't know. I tried to make them, and all I did was burn them. So, and then they also fried us the most amazing pork chops in these woks the same way, and it was really good. And one night we got to go watch, and it was already dark, so we were all sitting there with our cell phones just to give them light. I was cutting the mini-mos, and other people were shining light just so everyone could see what everyone was doing. Our goodbye lunch was the chicken soup you saw, a whole cut-up chicken, everything in it. It was one of the chickens that had been running around in the yard. We found out. And if you get the head, it's a special honor, but then you also have to eat it. And we got to scoop our own, so we didn't have to take what we didn't want, but Spencer fished for the head and got it. So he did eat the eyeballs. He tried as much of it as he could, but we were eventually be able to give the bones and other scraps to the dogs that were outside. So I tried to really help as much as I could because I didn't want to just look like this lazy person that hadn't done very much when I got there. And so I tried to help as much as I could. And I was doing dishes here. It's on a cement slab outside. They were always slaving over us and doing everything. So I was just trying hard to do as much as I could. I think this was after we were baking and I was washing some of the dishes. And you just use cold water and this little dish of green soap and a green scratcher. And if you've ever tried to get greasy dishes clean in cold water, you'll know it's not very easy. And then to get it all rinsed off. The people would then stay late throughout the day after taking care of us all day, and they would get all the dishes washed and brought in the house. Sometimes it would be 11 o'clock before they finally got to go home at night. And they were still working while we were doing our debriefing. And, obviously we couldn't help then because we were busy. But the ladies would haul the laundry down this hill, however much they had. Sometimes they asked for ours. One day they did all of our bedding down this hill and then back up, and they would wash it there. I never got to go see because I was always busy painting, but I would have liked to. But seeing the hill, I was dealing with a sprained ankle, and Kathy didn't want to get hurt either, so we didn't take the chance. And here's the video. This is going uphill. So at this time, they would be carrying wet laundry up with them. So you can imagine what it was like for them. So. Okay. And then okay. The children and the men and the women all hauled water. One day we ran out of water, and they were trying to figure out how we were going to get more water, and they hauled it from somewhere, we don't know where. From the store down the road. Okay. And they have to put it, well, they put some in the blue bin, but also the men would open up that big tank and pour water in so that it would come out the spigot on the bottom, and that's how we did our laundry. And the kids, when they were thirsty, they would just go up to the spigot and drink out of the spigot. They could drink the water, we couldn't. Yeah, and he's dumping water in there, and those blue bins were also in the bathrooms and the shower, or no, not the shower, but in between the bathrooms and shower for extra water. And here's a bathroom. We got to have a toilet seat. Apparently they didn't have them before we got there, so we were pretty happy. And then you just put your paper in the garbage and use the bucket there with some water and flush it down. There's the shower room where you take the little handled bucket and pour water over yourself and get nice and clean, nice and cold water. But I did bring a shower bag, so some people got warm water occasionally. There weren't any sinks anywhere, so you can imagine how we had to wash our hands. It was very difficult. I had wipes, so I used a lot of wipes and hand sanitizer. Occasionally, she had this little green soap that I would occasionally go under the spigot and get rinsed off because I just felt dirty. You can never have clean hands. So, no. Okay. Some people, this door didn't lock when people were showering, and so some people got a little peep show from others. We won't talk about those people. But Jim put a lock on there. This Jim will talk about, but this was Claudia's bathroom in her house that I don't need to discuss. But these people worked hard and helped us with our work as well as taking care of us the whole time. It was just amazing. The kids helped paint. They're so cute. This was Christine, I think, and I think there was a little girl helping too. And this is a business that they're working on. This is a lady that is the elder of the church, and she is their prayer warrior. And see how short she is? She's tall too. She's one of the taller ladies, I think. She was there almost every single day, and she would watch us work, and she always had a nice word to say. If you said hola to her, she'd say something even though we didn't understand her, and she'd always smile and give a hug. Or they don't smile naturally. They have just a straight face, but if you talk to them and engage them, then they're all of a sudden in a smile. So it was kind of neat. And so these people, it's not the same people from the crack of dawn till midnight. They did split the teams up, so they would have a different group throughout the day. But still, they had to walk everywhere, and the women wore these dress shoes most of the time. They were flat, but they were dress shoes. As you can see, she has them on, and she has an uphill hike up to the church. Oops, I did something wrong. I pushed the wrong button, Amos. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. So when I wasn't helping the people, I would be petting dogs or feeding the very skinny mama dogs that came around, or helping with Evelyn, because sometimes they had to go do things and would ask us to watch Evelyn for her, or she was fussy while we were there because she was sick, so I would take her and give them a break. But to top off the way these people served us continually, I mean, Claudia has, these Lenca people don't serve others naturally. She has taught them to be gracious to people when they come and help or do whatever, and she's kind of had to teach them how to be a gracious, giving group of people. I don't know if it's because they live in the mountains and just don't have opportunities, but this was our goodbye from them. Okay. Before I talk about this, I was told by Hermana Claudia that all the things that these people did for us day in and day out was their way of tithing to the church because they don't have money. So they fed us, they cleaned up after us, they did our laundry, they did so many things, and I would try to help, but I kind of got in trouble because I was doing too much, because I was taking away from their giving to us. So then, after a couple days of kind of just butting in and trying to help, I finally had said, well, I want to help. So Hermana Claudia started asking for my help, or I would just gently ask and she'd say, yep, and then show me what to do. But we always had to get taught what to do because of the language barrier or because they don't have the same utensils we would use. Okay. This is the special goodbye. In the church, we had just sat down, and immediately they came and took each one of us and brought us up to a chair. And Hermana Claudia told us that when she would go to visit her sister would wash her feet just to bless her because she has such a hard life. And because Jesus did that for his disciples, she wanted them to do this for us, and they were happy to do it. And so there was enough people in the church to watch each of our feet, and while they were doing that, they were praying for us, and lots of tears shed. It was a very, very humbling moment, and we didn't have enough Kleenexes. I'm telling you, it was really tough. But it was just so meaningful and such an amazing gift. Again, I want to say that we went there with the plan to help these people. Yes, they needed our monetary help in order to get some supplies, but when we they were already doing the building because the money was there, and they're going to finish the painting and everything, but the only help they really needed was a vehicle to get to community so they could continue their own work of bringing Jesus to these people, because that's what they're already doing. This is an amazing community that is reaching their whole department. They want to reach their whole department, and it's just how much I can remember on Facebook seeing a boy leading another boy to Christ. These kids love the Lord, and they want to share Jesus with other people, and they love going to outreaches with us. In fact, they have to take turns because they all want to go, but they have to take turns going. So because of everything they did, I just have such an appreciation for everything they did for us, and we could never have given as much as they gave to us the whole time. And then they also gifted us, they gifted us with the shawl blankets in the back, and then we have tortilla wraps that are downstairs. And my initial takeaway from this, okay, here's the department, but Josh talked about that. My initial takeaway was how much these people did for us, and it still is, but I've developed a very close communication relationship with these two boys that call me Mom, and Claudia. It's been amazing. I talk to them almost every day, and they call me Mom every day and tell me they love me.